Hi, Jeremy Crow here. In this video, I'm going to explain 3 types of mental discipline. Now, some people just use the term meditation, but really, depending on the person, that could mean something completely different. So I'd like to just use the term mental discipline to refer to any of those types of practices that will hone various different mental abilities. So the 3 that I'm going to describe today are self-hypnosis, contemplation, and concentration. So those are all 3 different types of practices that some people will refer to as meditation. So the first one, self-hypnosis. Now, that's kind of just a fancy word to describe being able to alter your mental state at will. So you may have heard these terms beta state or alpha state or delta or theta. Now, these are descriptions of the type of mental state that you would experience if your brain is producing predominantly frequencies within those ranges, the alpha range or the beta range. So we don't need to know those terms. Basically, there's normal, and then there's a light trance, and then there's a deeper trance, and then there's complete unconsciousness, non-dream sleep, something like that. Basically, anything from light trance on is going to be an effective altered state to do all kinds of various different stuff, because it will put you into a more suggestible state, and then you can put your own suggestions that you have pre-prepared beforehand. You can give yourself those auto-suggestions. So for example, if the classic example would be people that are trying to break an addiction like smoking cigarettes. So you would go into that light trance or deeper trance, and then there would be some sort of aversion, visualization that would associate it with something that you would be have an aversion to, so that you also have an aversion to the cigarettes. But also there are other things you can do that'll be more of a carrot and not the stick part of the thing, more of an inducement, all the various different ways that you'll feel better when you don't smoke. That's kind of the classic suggestion that people would get under hypnosis, but you can do other things too, like you can put yourself into a light trance state or deeper trance state and give yourself the suggestion that you will that your body should focus specifically on healing a certain aspect of your health. There's countless different things you could do. You could use it to increase your ability to absorb a new language if you're trying to learn another language. There's so many different applications to it. It's just the mind is the limit. The imagination is the limit. So how do you do it? Well, generally, you'll start off with some relaxation exercises. So you will generally sit, is the most common way to do it. And you'll sit with your hands just on your lap and loose clothing, and you will just gradually relax each part of your body in sequence. That's called progressive relaxation. And so you'll start generally at the feet or at the top of the head, but usually at the feet, and then work your way up mentally through all the different parts of the body until you get everything. And you've mentally told every single part of your body to relax. At that point, you're already probably going to be in a light trance. And that's probably all you need. But there are other things you can do to deepen that level of trance, which include visualizations. Generally, the standard ones or the stereotypical ones would be something along the lines of having the person or yourself visualize yourself descending a set of stairs. And you can even count down from 10 to 1 while you're doing that. But those are some of the classic ways that people will induce a deeper state of trance, is through a visualization that implies descent or deepening. And usually they'll talk about how the body becomes weightless in the visualization. You feel yourself becoming more and more light and relaxed, and things like that. And then you can ease yourself back out of it by doing the reverse. You can feel yourself getting more and more solid and grounded as you walk up the steps, and you can count from 1 to 10 as you do it. Generally, you want to sit still and relax your body. You don't want to be moving around during your self-hypnosis practice, because it can disrupt that relaxation of the body, and it can bring awareness back to your physical body. You kind of want to lose awareness of your physical body while you're doing this, and just focus on whatever you're currently visualizing, or the suggestion you're giving yourself, the auto-suggestion. So that's self-hypnosis, and that should give you enough to get started on it if you wanted to try it out. Contemplation is another form of mental discipline. And contemplation, you'll start out by basically putting yourself into a light trance state. Just relax, take a few deep breaths. And that alone generally puts somebody into a very light state of trance. And what that does, really, just so you understand this, is it puts the conscious mind a little bit back a step, and it puts the subconscious mind just forward a little step. It's hard to describe it, but that's kind of like one way you can think of it. Then what you'll do is you'll have something specifically that you're trying to contemplate, that you want to understand on a deeper level. Usually this will be some sort of symbol that you're trying to understand more. Then what you do is you just focus on that symbol, and then thoughts will begin to arise. And the ones that you can detect a connection to, the symbol in front of you, you can continue to follow that thread along. And if you get on some divergent thread where it's not connected to it anymore, you just backtrack and you try and understand where you got off track by retracing your thoughts backwards, and then getting back onto that thread again and go forward. And so this way you can explore multiple threads, and you can even go back all the way to the beginning and explore another thread that you thought was promising, but you decided to explore a different thought that had come up, right? So this is a way that you can kind of train your mind into thinking in various different threads and being able to trace back your thought process back, so that if you get distracted, you can bring yourself back to where you left off. And this helps train your mind in a bunch of different ways, with a different form of discipline than you would develop your mind by doing self-hypnosis. It's a different thing, but a lot of people will look at a symbol and they'll just let their mind explore that symbol and the various different connections that arise from that, and that's to them meditation. But other people, they practice altering their state, and that's meditation to them. So there's another form, concentration, and that's yet another form of mental discipline. It's very similar to contemplation, but instead of allowing your mind to explore the various different threads, you're looking at a symbol and you're just relaxed and you're just observing it. But instead of allowing your mind to go down different routes and explore different connections, it's kind of the opposite, actually. You want to just be aware of the existence of the thing that you're using as your focus. To start off, you should probably pick something very simple and non-suggestive, like just a plain black circle is kind of a classic starting point for concentration practice, because there's a ton of things that you could explore with a circle in terms of contemplation. But when you're just concentrating, it's a very basic symbol. So it won't lead your mind down as many different rabbit holes as maybe some goetic sigil or something. You can take just like a dot, or some people will even just pick a dot on the wall or on the ceiling. Or just pick a point, or they'll even just pick the air in front of their face. That's kind of an advanced practice where it's almost not a point of focus at all. Another very classic point of focus is your breath. Just being aware of your breath, not examining it, not exploring the meaning of it. You just are aware of its existence. And if you do find yourself contemplating it, and if you do find yourself thinking about anything other than just the pure existence of that thing, then you just gently bring your mind back to that awareness again. You don't trace back your thoughts. You just let it go, and you just bring your attention back to that point of focus. So if it's just your breath, just bring your awareness back to the fact that you are breathing. Don't change your breath, just observe it and be aware of it. Now I find that that's a little bit more advanced than just using a circle. If you start thinking, oh, circle of life, or even am I doing this right? Or how much longer do I have to do this? Or what am I going to eat later? Or anything like that. Just let that thought go. Don't engage that thought. And just bring your awareness back to the existence of that black circle. That's it. And you just do that for a set amount of time. And then once the alarm goes off or whatever, then you end that practice. And that's it. And that develops a different form of mental discipline than the other two that I described. And these are 3 types of mental discipline that I feel is very valuable for somebody who is practicing esoteric practices. But it's just going to make your mental functioning that much more efficient regardless of what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, these forms of mental discipline are going to make you more effective at various different types of thinking and being, really. So I hope you enjoyed that brief explanation and introduction to mental discipline. If you like these types of videos, I've been doing them every week, putting one out every Friday at 4 p.m. And generally I'll be in a live chat during the initial premiere screening of that video. So I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and check out the videos that I have already here and come back every Friday for the new video.